Hi friends, you're listening to She Who Remembers. I'm your host, Antonia Bova, and this is the 10th and final episode of Season 1. Today we are going to talk about intuition, and I'm closing out Season 1 on intuition because it's the thread that weaves everything together, from starting at awareness, to patterning, to unlearning and relearning, to boundaries. Through all of this in every relationship and what you choose to do in your day-to-day life, the decisions that you make, whether minuscule or massive, intuition plays a part in all of this. We are taught from a very young age not to listen and trust our own intuition. We listen to our parents, we listen to our teachers, we listen to the authoritative figures, doctors, you name it, and we're always listening to somebody else and what they have to say and just taking that as tried and true. Whereas our intuition is speaking to us constantly, telling us what we really need to hear. And it's a remembrance. It's not I didn't know this, yada yada. It's, I knew this all along. It was always inside of me. They say all of the answers are always within because they genuinely are. You don't need to go outside of yourself to figure out what's already within. I just want to start by saying that there's nothing wrong with listening to people and things and other ideologies outside of yourself. People really lean on religion. They lean on the patterning from childhood. They lean on what society just goes by because that's just what you do. And I find in my circles and in the people that I know and clients that I work with, everybody is like a victim to the system, and everybody has dealt with this in one way or another. And that's why people say, oh, you've had your spiritual awakening. You broke out of the matrix. You broke out of this conditioning. You did follow your intuition to get out of like this rat race and this loop that just keeps you stuck and almost like asleep is like what you'll hear people say. And so it's so important just to not blame yourself for anything or feel, any guilt or anything of that matter. This is a process and it's a journey and it's an unfolding. It takes a lot of time, and it takes for you to kind of wake up out of confusion to realize like I'm no longer going to abandon myself, and I'm ready to come into truth and to follow things that don't quite make sense. It's risky, it's change, it's uncomfortable. But that's where this starts. So what even is intuition in the first place? This isn't some spiritual woo-woo, I have to be psychic to have intuition type of thing. This is a very subtle, quiet nudge, knowing, feeling in your body that will lead you and tell you what you need to know in the moment, or when it comes to a crossroads of making a decision, or when it comes to being around a specific person. They always do say too, if you're ever questioning something, then clearly it's probably not right for you. Like if it was right for you, you'd kind of be all in, full body yes, you'd be excited about it. Whereas fear or anxiety or impulsive decisions tend to not be from intuition. This is just almost a reactive way of being and existing and acting. So it's very, very important to know, nervous system wise, that your intuition will come from you breathing and being rooted and really just listening to the quiet nudge versus loud and adrenaline, dopamine, impulse. That's not what intuition is. So it's very important to be discerning between the two kind of feelings that are associated on either side of the spectrum of one side is chaotic, not grounded, not really inside of your body, it's outside of yourself. The other side is very in your body, grounded, listening, stillness. Intuition tends to get distorted when you're operating from a place of unhealed emotions, from patterning that you haven't quite yet brought to the surface, from boundaries being violated. Milky might come say hi right now. From your ego not being totally healed or integrated. It will be distorted when you don't quite know what you even really want or who you even really are. If you're playing off of the patterning that somebody else just passed down to you, and that's kind of how you're living, and you're living for other people, you're living for somebody else's expectations, then it's going to be a little bit harder for you to tap into this, because intuition is not like, it's not something that you just get all of a sudden. It's always there. It's always been there. It's not like it just magically goes away. You just are suppressing it. You're not listening to it, and you're not like communicating with it. When I was going through a deeply traumatic stage in my life with my parental figure, one in particular, it was so challenging for me to use my intuition because I was so wrapped up and manipulated in conditioning that wasn't real. It was taught upon me through religion and passed down through generations of like, this is how you should be treating a parent, this is how you should be showing up. And so I didn't even know like what to do during that whole, year period, that I was just constantly abandoning myself because I was listening to the patterns that were put onto me. And that's how I was operating. And did it feel good? No. Was I depressed? Yes. It was god awful because I didn't realize at the time that I wasn't listening to me or what I wanted or what was good for me. I was just operating from a place of what's good for the other person, what's going to make them happy, how can I help them, and how can I always be at their beck and call. And that ended up being so self-sabotaging to my life, my friends, my relationships, my career. And this is kind of why I'm saying it's so important to break out of those things to be able to then uncover what's actually good for you. And it isn't from fear, it's from empowerment, and it's from really knowing yourself inside and out and what you will or won't stand for. I'm not going to stand for the breadcrumb relationships. I'm not going to stand for somebody crossing my boundaries over and over and over again. I don't care if it's your boyfriend or your mother. No. So this is kind of where the intuition starts getting stronger. And specifically when I was going through this whole year period that I was just speaking of, my intuition only got stronger by me leaning in a little bit more and then acting on it, and leaning in a little bit more and acting on it. And then the muscle kept strengthening, and I was like, oh my gosh, my decision making got a lot faster. I stopped going to other people to ask them for advice or what they thought. I knew within myself what was good for me because I'd built up that confidence, and I knew that whatever I needed was always for my highest. It was always what was right for me, even though nobody else agreed with it. And what I will say, it's so crazy about working with your intuition is it's not going to be the popular opinion. It's not going to be what everybody socially accepts. It's going to rub a lot of people the wrong way because it's quite triggering for people who aren't integrated and haven't done this work and don't follow their intuition to see somebody step into their own power and choose what's good for them. Very triggering, very revealing. And to be honest, like, you might end up losing a lot of people. I have a friend right now who they're raising their baby in a really healthy way. No seed oils, no fries, no, vaccines, things of that nature that are very not okay to the rest of the world, because this is how you should be raising your baby and you should be doing X, Y, or Z. Everybody wants to have an opinion about what they think is right, what their script is and what they were taught. And that's their perception, that's their reality. And so if they want to throw it all on you, it's because you're doing something against the grain. You're doing something that's making, causing a ripple effect and a reaction in people. It's an amazing thing that means you're on the right path. So I'm going to get a little deep with you here and explain how I live through intuition. Growing up, I was always told that I was very impulsive and that I cut people off too quickly. And my mom always told me, you can't keep friends. And that was a big thing where I was thinking in my head, can I not keep friends? It was a conditioning that was just wrapped in my mind. But I realized that I just didn't stand for people who weren't operating in sacred reciprocity or supporting me. I think a lot of the times we settle for the bare minimum out of scarcity, and that's what leads to an anxious attachment style of like, oh my God, I need this person. I'm going to literally bend in whatever ways I need to keep them in my life. Whereas me from a young age, if it didn't work, it didn't work, and I let it go. And so I very much live from non-attachment. I very much live from, I'm going to follow my intuition even when it doesn't make sense, and I'm going all in. And I even mistaked that as being impulsive. Whereas impulsive is on the other side of the spectrum with the dopamine, adrenaline, living kind of in chaos and stress and nervous system responses. And I actually just recently realized that it's actually just intuition. And it seems crazy and it seems wild to other people because some people wouldn't just move from Florida to Arizona based on intuition. But for me, I knew that it was what I had to do, and I didn't know why. So that's the biggest thing. And this is where religion kind of weaves into all of this. Is religion is meant to make you feel empowered and loved and supported in believing in something that's bigger than yourself and knowing that you are being guided every step of the way for your life to just get better and better and better. And any traumatic and deeply painful, horrible things that happen in your life, they're teaching you something. And I know that it could be a hard pill to swallow for a lot of people, but it will always give you more strength on the other side once you make it through that thing. Always, always. And so conditional religious beliefs teach you quite the opposite of this, where you'll feel guilty if you do something wrong. You're not loved unconditionally. You should repent for your sins and feel sorry for yourself. And it's just so sad for me to see people who are living from this space of putting all of their power and trust into someone else and something else from a place of, I'm not strong enough. Whereas you can put your energy up into your higher self and come from a place of, I know what's good for me and I know that I'm being taken care of. And so I'm going to make this leap. And no matter what happens, if it's the wrong decision, I will end up finding my way again. I will pivot and everything will be okay. I have loving and supportive people around me. And I don't mean to bring up religion to trash on it or anything like that. I think all religions lead to the same thing, that love is the highest vibration. We are all one and we are all love. That's why we're all here. So intuition is these soft little gut feelings that are gently hugging you, holding you, and lightly pushing you in the right direction. And it's so important to listen when they come up. And typically, the intuitive nudge is the first thing that you feel when you need to make a decision. The first thing. That's why there are a lot of girls who, if their partner's cheating on them and they start to get anxious and they're like, well, why is he doing this? Why is he doing that? You knew all along that he was cheating on you. You knew. You just didn't want to listen to it. Or, oh, I don't know if this guy really likes me. He's acting distant, blah, blah, blah. You knew that he didn't like you back. You knew that he didn't want to continue a relationship or start a relationship. Like, we always know, but we almost trick ourselves into believing that we don't, because we're not fully in our power. And so once you start listening and then acting on the thing that you knew all along, you're like, oh my gosh, I don't need all of these other things outside of myself to be fully me and to be fully in my own empowerment. This may sound like a high risk way of living, but it's high trust. And surrender really does play a huge role here. And this is why I'm not a massive manifester, because in my personal opinion, I know I'm not like a lot of other people. I believe that my life is already predetermined for me. If I am manifesting something, there's kind of no point. It's like trying to control everything. Whatever will be, for as long as I continue listening to the nudges. As soon as something feels off or wrong, that could be with work, clients, friends, then that's it. Then it's done. And there's no looking back for me. That's just not how I like to operate. I don't want to live in the past. I can be forgiving, but now there's a separation. I'm here with love and light, sending you peace, love, and light. But there's no reason for, once you've shown me your true colors, once I've seen someone's agenda, for me to really go back and try to like mend or fix things. Yeah, that's pretty much how I operate when it comes to that. But I'm a little bit more hardcore, a little Gemini girl. Anyways, all of that to say, following your intuition is essential for the betterment of your life, for things to happen faster, for you to know immediately how to process things without running to somebody else for an emergency. It literally is like the keys to your own castle. You have this within you, and you just need to wake up to it and slow down enough to listen to it. And it really does come from self-trust and knowing that everything that you were ever told is probably a lie. So it's a tough pill to swallow. It is. And doing a lot of this work is. And I think more people are awakening now because of the knowledge that we have at our fingertips, and then people's own experiences where they're starting to awaken and experience some of these things on their own. And they're like, oh my gosh, that's right. I did know all along. And so when we're really able to take care of ourselves and come from a place of discernment, it then amplifies your relationships. It amplifies everything in your life because you're doing things that you want to do because you can. It's not coming from a place of obligation or guilt or, oh, I have to. It's my intuition is really just wanting this. And if other people in my life can't accept that, then that's their own thing. I'm going to keep living my life embodied and happy and free and in peace. And so it is. I kind of didn't mean for this episode to be like so intense, but that's just how it's coming out of me right now. And so I'm honoring it. This is really important discernment wise to understand how conditioning feels in your body versus intuition. So conditioning in your body will feel very tense, tight, will feel like old patterns. It will feel almost familiar as well. And intuition will feel flowy, unknown. It will feel exciting. It will feel like a huge step. Like, wow, I don't really know what's here, but I'm excited about the future. There's something in me that's lit up over this thing. And so that's, if you can feel in your body right now how those two things feel, are you in the corporate job that your parents wanted you to be in forever so that you could make a lot of money and provide for your family and do X, Y, or Z? Or are you taking a huge risk in doing what you know you're meant to be doing, creating art? Maybe you're a podcast host. Maybe you are in the healing space and healing modalities. But you know that that's your magic. You know that that's your bliss and what you're really supposed to be doing here. How are the two playing out in your lives? And just to put a little disclosure here, just because you're following your bliss doesn't mean that it's a really easy path. It's not. None of this is super easy. When things are meant for you, they will flow. It won't have much tension or roadblocks or lessons in it. It will flow, but it really is the action that you put behind it in order to make this thing quote unquote successful, to give you the financial stability for the life that you desire. It will be, a slow burn and a build. So if you're needing that corporate job for health benefits or money on the side or whatever, the two can coexist at once. It's not all or nothing. we have to remember there's always a gray area. And even though your intuition is telling you, follow that dream, chase that dream, do that thing, you still do have a very human life. And it's okay to have that side job, to have money coming in so that you can pay your bills, so you're not so stressed out and anxious, like trying to create the thing you want to do. Because again, that's kind of tension, and that's not really going to work. So really just be open to all of it and knowing that there's 100 solutions to one problem. I don't really like to say the word problem. Challenge is a better word for it. It's the reframe. It's you really do get to have it all if you believe that you do. The last thing that I'll say here is intuition is the foundation of healing. All of these different tools and resources and modalities that I have spoken with you about throughout the last 9 episodes of She Who Remembers, they do come from intuition. Everybody's prescription is going to be a little bit different. Even with the clients that I work with in Ascension, every single client has a vastly different story. Pachamama's giving me a wildly different prescription for every single client, and everybody's going to need to process things in their own way. We're human, we're different. It's not a copy and paste. So you really need to follow your intuition when it even comes to your healing journey of, how do I process? How do I like to communicate? What is going to be my way of releasing this stored trauma? Is it going to be breath work or yoga? Or do I love to go to the gym and throw around weights? Is it screaming? Is it dancing? We're all going to have our own beautiful way of using this medicine of, somatics. And whether you're male or female, whatever culture you come from, we all are unique in our own ways. So it is really important to use intuition on this path. What mentor, teacher, therapist, facilitator do you want to work with? That retreat that you've been wanting to go on, how does that feel in your body? Like, we must use intuition to make these decisions because it's so important on who you end up sharing your energy with and who you trust to help guide you in your healing journey, in your spiritual journey, even just in the things that you're learning about. Who are you really looking up to and why? Who, has values in their lives or relationships in their lives that you maybe would like to embody. And that comes from knowing you and then using your intuition to decide that for yourself. And it's beautiful. You're allowed to be accepting of everybody and loving of everybody. But you're also not going to be for everybody, and everybody is not going to be for you. So that's where, your friend had this teacher who her life changed from this woman, and she swears by it. But maybe it won't be the same experience for you because you're two vastly different people from two very different backgrounds. And so that's why I say, no matter who, you're surrounded by and what you're doing, it's going to be a different path for you because it's meant to. And that is a gift. Milo is here for the duration of the episode. My little lap. So I just want to close out this episode by saying you don't need more information. You don't need more chaos and noise and just like clogging the pipes. You need to go within, and here I'm handing your power back to you. Handing it back to you. Call it back in. Call your energy back to you. Almost every single time I go out in public and then come home, I call my energy back to me. And I will say, I call all of my energy back to me from every person, place, thing, and timeline. And so it is. And that's it. I call it back, I call it back, I call it back. Because people and information on social media and things are constantly pulling our attention. Therefore, it's pulling our energy. Therefore, it's clouding our judgment, which is then clouding our intuition. What a thing. What a concept. So all of this to say This season is about remembering. It's about going within to get out the trauma, to intercept the karma, to become aware of the patterning, to understand that you are the vessel that you need. Not all these other things or plant medicine and this, that, the other. It's you. It's always been you all along. And you need to honor that and just give yourself a huge hug because you are amazing. You're doing everything right. You're doing everything right. And if you're here, congratulations. You are on the path. I'm so proud of you. I am here to support you. My whole purpose, the soul contract that I signed, is to help people, to awaken people, and to use Pachamama to give medicine to all of you, whatever her prescription is, however she wants you to operate and the things that you're needing to release. This is literally what I'm here for. If you are wanting to work with me, I have my container called Ascension. We work one-on-one for 4 weeks. We go through all of this patterning. We break it. We rewrite it. We unlearn the patterns that have been put onto you from childhood. Set boundaries. Put action behind the things that need action immediately. We make a priority list together. And then Pachamama does give me a very specific prescription that I am channeling through her to you specifically. Everybody's journey is going to be so different, as I mentioned before. And you will leave Ascension feeling whole, almost being like, oh shit, this is crazy. There's no crutches, there's no leaning on other people. You get your power back. You remember why you came here. You have clarity on your path of what you need to be doing. You're excited about life. All of this. Some people, it's very drastic, 180. Their lives are completely different. Some people, it's like, I really just needed this refresh. I needed this fix. I needed to remember. I kind of knew, but you just awakened something in me. So if you're ready, I'll leave the link to work with me below. I have a wait list right now, so you'll just put in your name and your email, and then I'll email you right when a spot opens up. Season 1 is about remembering what is available to you and within you. Season 2 is all about living it. You're going to see the most incredible, powerful, potent women. I am so excited to have these conversations. They're going to be insightful, and each female has undergone a tremendously different thing and has had a beautiful, wild, chaotic path. But they're living in their purpose now and working with the medicine that they were always meant to work with. So you will witness in real time the embodiment, what the other side looks like when you've done this work. So thank you for being here. I really appreciate you tuning in to She Who Remembers. Season 1 is a wrap. I'll see you all for Season 2. Bye.